It's Tuesday, except it might not be for you, but it's Tuesday for me, and that means it's time for another bit vlog with Francesca. Woo! My name is not Francesca Woo, just to be clear. It's Francesca Woo, you know, because like I'm a white girl. Never mind. Anyway, this week I want to talk about this. Mario Kart 8, and also the Wii U, because now is probably the best time to buy a Wii U. Out of all of the next-gen consoles, this one is probably the strongest. So I would currently rank them Wii U, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And I own an Xbox One and now a Wii U, so you know, whatever. Anyway, the reason the Wii U is so strong at the moment is because they finally gotten to the point in Nintendo's developing career where the lineup is actually starting to get really strong in terms of games. Now this is unfortunate because a lot of third-party companies have announced that they're not publishing for them. Most pertinent at the moment is Ubisoft, who said they're not making any more games for the Wii U. Considering they had Zombie U, they've had Rayman, they've had some really good games out there, and they're just not happening anymore. Apparently Wii U players don't play Assassin's Creed. Anyway, so Wii U is currently, for me, the strongest console based on games lineup. I mean, sure, it may be not graphically as powerful as the other ones, but there's a lot of fun stuff on there. Currently, I have Monster Hunter, Mario Kart 8, Rayman Legends, and I'm getting Super Mario 3D World, also known as Cat Mario, which was actually our game of the year last year. Anyhow, so Mario Kart 8 is what I want to kind of base this vlog around, seeing as there was just some free DLC and there's some paid DLC coming out, which I want to kind of cover and how it affects the main game. Now, the main game is a lot of fun. It's very typical Mario Kart. You get 32 tracks, bunch of cars, bunch of characters, and you race. They've introduced some new items, one of which is the horn, which I'll talk about later. There's also the boomerang flower and the piranha plant, which are all kind of add some interesting mechanics. You've got karts and bikes, as you did in Mario Kart 7 on the DS, and you've got this parachute feature that was again introduced in Mario Kart 7 and has made its way onto Mario Kart 8. And Mario Kart 8 is a very pretty game. It's a lot of fun to play, but it had some flaws. Now, I got my Wii U on August 26th, and one of the things I kind of found really frustrating about it was that you only get the map on the touchpad controller. Like, it's only there on the screen. I'm not even showing you, I'm just gesturing. So you only get the map on the touchpad controller, and this is an issue because whilst you're racing, like, there's a lot, you need to be on the ball in terms of snaking, in terms of dodging, in terms of throwing weapons. You can't really look away from the screen for the amount of time it takes to look at the map, register where you are on the map, and register where everyone else is on the map in correlation to you. And for me, this was something that was quite frustrating about it. But lo and behold, the next day, there was a DLC which puts the map on the screen. And it's a free DLC, it's the Mercedes-Benz DLC. And we'll get to that in a second, but that was one of the really top features about the DLC. Another thing that's really neat about Mario Kart is that you can watch your highlights of your race. You can see like the cool bits where you shelled someone or where you messed up or where you overtook. It kind of makes, when a race is quite frantic, it makes the interesting bits that happen rewatchable, replayable. You can upload them and you can just kind of edit them and what have you. And that's kind of neat, but that's not usually what I want to do straight after racing. A lot of the time I may want to go straight into the race. I don't always want to watch these highlights. I don't want to watch these highlights for every race. However, the first option when you finished a race was watch highlights. They've changed that now so that instead of watch highlights being predominant, you go to next race first. And again, that's a great change. A little bit of an issue for me is I feel like these should have really been implemented before they released the game. Like, from playing the game for a day, I realized that there was an issue with the map. A day, like not even that long, and I picked up on it, so why didn't they? But they fixed them now, and it was the day after I bought the game and the console, so, you know, for me, that it's not really been an issue. However, we then go on to the Mercedes-Benz DLC. Now, this has added 3 new cars, which are all Mercedes-Benz cars, unsurprisingly. And basically, I guess, they've had some kind of deal between Nintendo and Mercedes-Benz where they've put these cars in the game for free as maybe some form of advertising. Now, I don't understand this for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I'm not about to buy a Mercedes-Benz. Maybe they just want awareness of the brand, but like, it's unlikely that I'll buy a Mercedes-Benz based on driving them in Mario Kart. And another problem is that the cars don't quite fit into the whole Mario Kart lineup. I mean, the Silver Arrow Formula 1 Mercedes-Benz and the SL Roadster both kind of fit in with the theme. They look a little bit quirky, and they do sort of fit in with the kind of kart lineup. And these cars aren't overpowered or anything. Like, you're not guaranteed to win if you're racing a Mercedes-Benz. However, the Mercedes-Benz GLA, it just looks weird. It looks like a shiny road car compared to all these kind of silly looking or fun looking Mario Kart cars. And it just doesn't fit. And oh, I don't think I like it. And neither does Luigi. I mean, it changes color based on who you play, but it feels a bit jarring. I mean, it was a free DLC and you don't have to play these cars, but I mean, you're gonna see people playing them online, which you're kind of gonna have to come to accept. And I'm just wondering, like, maybe if it was Nintendo selling out a little bit on adding these cars just to make a quick buck. Which wouldn't be surprising considering how they keep reporting losses and no one's buying the Wii U. Except that I did. Anyway, so moving on from that, we'll move on to the good DLC. So that was the bad DLC. And then next up is the good DLC. Now the good DLC is good because it unlocks a whole bunch of cool new stuff for the game. Now, one of the DLCs comes out in November and one of them comes out in May, but you can pre-purchase either or both if you wish. Now, Mario Kart's roster is really odd this time around. I mean, you've got your classics, you've got your Yoshis, your Warios, your Marios, your DKs, your Bowsers. Oh, you've got all the classic kind of racers, but then there's about 8 iterations of like mini Bowser, and they have something called a Lemmy. I mean, what the fuck's a Lemmy?
What the fuck's a Lemmy?
Anyway, fortunately for us, the DLC adds a little bit more of a mixture into that. So 3 characters per DLC, you get 4 karts per DLC, and you get 8 new races tracks per DLC. Now, bearing in mind that Mario Kart has 32 tracks, they're adding an additional 16 with both the DLC. So that's 50% again, or 25% per DLC, which is really good. And whilst we don't have any information on the tracks, we do now know who the new characters are going to be. So we have Tanuki Suit Mario, who's super cute. We have Cat Peach from Super Mario 3D World. And we have Link in the first DLC. In the second DLC, there's Dry Bowser, there is Isabelle from Animal Crossing, and there's Villager from Animal Crossing. Now, for me, in some ways, like Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, and Dry Bowser are a bit of a cop-out because they're just reworks of people who are already there. And I mean, I already have like Pink Rose Gold Peach, so like, why do I need Cat Peach? But what's interesting is that they've added Link, Isabelle, and Villager. Now, these characters are arguably great and arguably terrible. Now, some people are unhappy that Mario Kart is going in a direction where they're adding other first-party characters into the game who aren't initially from the Mario Kart world. They're kind of going a bit of a Super Smash Bros. Direction where it's going to be like, not necessarily Mario Kart, maybe Nintendo Kart at this rate. But for me, I think it's going to be really interesting. So you've got a little bit more variation for who you want to play. I mean, whilst your character does make a little bit of difference, a lot of the time it's not necessarily as important as your kart. However, number one, it's a lot of fun just to have another 6 characters on the roster. All these new races are going to kind of bring fresh life into it, and it'll probably bring people back to playing Mario Kart who've maybe stopped come May 2015. And I think it's a really great little DLC, especially how it's priced. Yes, there's like a good side and a bad side to how it's priced. So price-wise, you can buy both of them together for $11.99 each, or individually for $7. The problem is that in the UK, obviously that's not the case. In the UK, they cost £7 each, or £11 for both of them, which is a lot more if you do conversions. But still, if you think about it, it's 11 quid for 6 characters, 8 carts, and 16 courses. And considering how much the game costs standalone, like, that is a bargain, and I've already pre-purchased it. Now, speaking of pre-purchasing, when you pre-purchase the DLC, this is something that's a bit cute. I mean, it doesn't really add much, it's like reskinning characters, but it's cute. So when you pre-purchase it, you get access to 8 new colors of Shy Guy, and you get access to 8 new colors of Yoshi. And as someone who predominantly plays Yoshi, like, this is great, because I can be every color Yoshi I want. I can even play my favorite Yoshi, which is Check Your Privilege Yoshi. Never mind. But yeah, I think Mario Kart is going in a very interesting direction. And I think that Nintendo have hit the nail on the head in a lot of instances and missed a little bit in others. But overall, the 2 DLCs are really positive for the game. And they make the game from something good to something great. And that's what I really like about it. I mean, I know a lot of people have been complaining when it first came out back in May about the horn item being used to dodge the blue shell. But just to finish off, I just want to point out that the problem with the blue shell is a great, terrible item. Like, it's fantastic and it's horrible. But the problem with it is that in competitive play, it kind of fucks everyone over. Like, you could be the best racer in the world, but if you get blue shelled at the wrong moment, you lose. I mean, how many of us have been doing 150cc and gotten close to the finish line only to be blue shelled and have one of the bots overtake us and then we lose? It's just frustrating. And basically what they've added is a mechanism that combats the blue shell. There's always apparently been ways to dodge it. Like, if you have well-timed jumps, or you could just brake and make the other person like overtake you. If you're aware and you have played enough Mario Kart, there's actually ways you can dodge it. However, in terms of competitive play, it kind of fucks things up. Like, it's great for casual play, it's absolutely great. It keeps everyone kind of close together in terms of the race. But for competitive play, they've implemented the horn, which if you have it at the right time, counteracts a blue shell. And I think that is a good thing for competitive Mario, simply because it allows people under circumstances to dodge the blue shell and maintain their lead that they deserve. So I think it is a good item, because bear in mind, when you're holding onto a horn, you're sacrificing having, say, a shell or a mushroom that you can then hold behind you and stop you getting hit in the butt by other things. So there's pros and cons to both things, but I think that it's a good item to add just because it's quite well balanced in terms of making the competitive scene more interesting, but still keeping the game quite casual and frenetic for people who aren't that into, say, fire dodging or whatever it is called. There's a technique you can use that makes you go faster. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think about the Wii U? Let me know. Do you like Mario Kart? Do you really hate Mario Kart? Have you been playing too much Monster Hunter? Do you think that Ubisoft have made a bad decision? I personally do, but you know, it's all about money. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video or you like Mario Kart, press that thumbs up button, because YouTube got rid of the like button and now you press the thumbs up. So you could maybe do that. We also have a Facebook at facebook.com/thekilobits and a Twitter, which is @thekilobits. I'd also like to mention my personal Twitter, which is @Jaggerus for all your Jaggerus needs. For Francesca, that's me. And also my Twitch for live streaming at twitch.tv/Jaggerus. Hopefully get some Wii U stuff live streamed in the near future. But that's it from me, guys. I will see you all next week with something else to complain about or talk about. You have been lovely, and I'll see you later. Bye.